Hey! You are listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? Got to take care of a few things before we jump into this week's episode. First, our Ramping Isometrics for BJJ program. It is a 12-week program, all laid out for you. It's going to help you build strength and cardio in the fastest, safest, and most convenient way possible. This is how James and I have been training for the past year, and we love it. So we put this program together so you can just follow along, and we are certain you will see and feel the benefits that we do. It's only $15. Just go to grumpyguybjj.com, click the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll find it. Next, R3. This is our K2 D3 supplement. It is a combination of those two vitamins, D3 and K2. These are two vitamins that James and I have been taking for a long time that really help us recover from hard training sessions. And for only $15 with free shipping, you get a whole month's supply. I was going to pull up some studies explaining the benefits of D3 and K2, but I'm not going to insult your intelligence and pretend to be a fucking scientist. I take it. It helps me recover. That's it. So for $15, check it out. And last but certainly not least, we have partnered up with Digitsu.com. They have a ton of awesome BJJ instructionals, and they have hooked us up with a discount code for our listeners. It's Grumpy10. So what you got to do is you go to Digitsu.com, which is Digitsu.com. Find the instructionals you want, throw them in a shopping cart. In the little discount code box, you type in Grumpy10, which is just GRUMPY and the number 10, 10. That's it, no spaces. Boom, you get 10% off. You're up and running. They got a nice app you can download on your phone. That way you can take your instructionals right to the gym with you, watch the technique, drill it. It's a pretty sweet setup. So once again, Digitsu.com, discount code Grumpy10, GRUMPY10. Simple as that. To find all this stuff I just got done talking about, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com. Click the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner. There, you'll subscribe to our newsletter for podcast updates. You'll find links for the Ramping Isos program, the R3 Recovery Supplement, and then under the Programs and Products tab, you'll find a link to Digitsu.com. And let's be honest, if you guys can't figure out how to navigate a website by now, there's nothing I can do to help you. So quit fucking around. Check it out, train hard, and let's get into this week's episode. 3, and here we are.
Here we are in a new
venue.
New podcast mutt, new venue.
We'll see how it all plays out.
That's right. We've changed our environment, so see how our habits play out.
Well, this was just so I could keep an eye on my new dog, Frank Sinatra, because the government mandated I got his nuts cut off so I could bring him home.
That's right, yeah.
So he's got stitches.
Yeah.
So I couldn't bring him over to play with Eickhoff.
Not yet.
So
He looks like he'll be a good playmate.
I hope.
Yeah, man. He seems like a good dog.
Yeah, it was hilarious. So I got the animal shelter took him to the vet on Wednesday, the Wednesday morning, and then I picked him up Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
So when I strolled into the vet to pick him up, dude, all the girls there were like, "Oh my God, your dog is so awesome. He's so sweet." I guess he was just loving on everybody. And then so they were telling me about how he was just going from person to person, getting belly rubs and being super sweet. Then he looks pretty cool with his blue eyes and shit.
Yeah.
So they were going on and on about it. And then they're like, "Hey, we got a favor to ask you. Like, this doesn't happen very often." And they pull out this piece of paper. They're like, "This is a release because we took a ton of pictures of him and we would like to use them, like, you know, on our blog and advertisement and shit, if you don't mind."
Just tell him, fuck off.
And I was like, "Yes, but I asked for some steep royalties." No.
No.
Like, yeah, I'll take royalties and dog biscuits.
Fun.
But so I had to sign. They wanted me to sign a release so they could use his pictures. So he's already getting social media famous or something.
Nice, man. Got to get him a hashtag for your non-social media presence. That's it. You can get Frank as Instagram account. He won't be on social media.
Frank will be.
But you can have Frank.
You know, I've so there is channels on YouTube that people that have dogs that are like super popular. There's just one. He's like this golden retriever. His name's like, I've come across it because it just pops up in your feed once in a while because I look at dog shit. It's like Tucker.
Oh, yeah.
Tucker or something. Dude, millions of views.
Yeah.
Millions of fucking views.
I'm sure.
So maybe Frank needs his own YouTube channel.
I mean,
that seems like a lot of effort on my part, though.
Didn't like cat videos launch YouTube?
Yeah.
I think that was pretty much what
people
got it. Yeah.
Used it for?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, we can watch other stuff too, but it's still the most popular shit. Cute animals. People love cute animals.
Well, that one Tucker Golden Retriever thing on YouTube. He's a pretty cute dog, and the chick that does it does it pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty entertaining. So I can see why there's millions of people that watch it. Like, oh.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can pimp Frank out and make some money off YouTube.
Maybe, man. I don't know. That's becoming a social media influencer it's kind of like the modern day lottery.
Whether it catches or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, better chances of being a YouTube influencer than you do winning the lottery, I would think.
I doubt it. I don't think so.
Really?
Dude, if you think about how many I guess when you talk about like win the lottery, like what do you mean by win the lottery? Like the jackpot, biggest lottery.
I'm not talking the $5 scratcher.
I'll bet you got more. I'll bet you have a higher chance of making some money off the lottery than you do YouTube. But
that's funny.
I don't know, man. I mean, you think about how many people. Well, we get with Peddling Innovations, we'll get people sometimes who hit us up and they're like, "Hey, I got a YouTube channel and I want to review your pedals." And then you go and you look and they've got like 5 subscribers. Mm-hmm. They've posted like 2 videos. You know, it's like just somebody who saw someone else who's doing that. So it's like, you know, you see that dog and someone else is like, dude, I can do that.
Yeah.
And so they start some channel and then they start hitting up like trying to, you know, advertising and sponsors. And it's like, look, I got this channel set up, you know, sponsor me, send me free shit.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that's not how it works. Not how it works.
Yeah, I had a feeling that wasn't how.
No, man, you got to put some work into it.
Yeah, I'm not willing to do that. I got a lot of other things in my life I'd rather spend time on.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I entertain the thought for about 3 seconds.
Yeah. Social media takes work.
Yeah, it does. It's not nothing I want to invest time into.
I hire people. That's what you got to do. I got a guy.
I
can pay him like $100 a month, man.
Be like, hey, man, I want a YouTube channel for my dog. How much is that going to cost me to hire you to do
$40 to have it set up. $40 to have a fucking YouTube channel set up.
And I would just have to record videos and send him the videos?
And upload. No, you can upload them yourself. Yeah. But once you've uploaded them, it's actually pretty sweet. I don't know why I waited so long to have somebody do it. But they put all the tags are already set up. And so like every time you post a video, it's already got like this, like all the like stuff to optimize, like the keywords and all that stuff's already set up. So you don't have to go in and fuck with every post. You just upload a video and hit publish, and it's like got all the shit done already. So it's nice. Automation is sweet. And then we got some Instagram, Facebook guys working for us. And they're doing.
So you don't have to fuck with any of that stuff yourself?
No, man.
You just upload the photos or give him the photos. Or
dude,
whatever?
They're doing it all. It's crazy. Yeah, they're going back, like, especially for Bike James, because I've been doing Bike James since, 2005 is when I put up my first website. And, man, I literally have, 1,000+ blog posts on my, at bikejames.com. I'm just doing it for so long, so I've got so much fucking content. And so, these guys go to my site, and they just, pull my content and create pictures and shit, and they do a great job. We don't do nothing. We don't have to do anything. Just tell them whether, give them direction, this is good, or didn't like that one, or let's see a few more, ones that promote our email signups or something like that. So, but so you don't have to mess with any of it. Yeah, man.
It's one of those things that why did you wait so long to do something like that? Because you've spent a lot of time doing shit, on social media.
Oh yeah,
a lot of time, I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, when it first came around, there weren't you were your own social media expert,
right? And
so, and part of it, I think that you need to, if you're gonna do something, there's a fine line. You don't want to be an expert at it, but you need to know it well enough to know whether someone really is an expert at it.
Right, whether someone's just kind of screwing you over.
Right, yeah. Because if you're totally blind, like a one-eyed man will fucking seem like a genius.
Right.
Right? Like if you don't know nothing, a 2-stripe blue belt seems like a genius. But so you need to know at least enough to know whether the person you're talking to is full of shit or not. But dude, even then, people, they get their buzzwords. They know what to say. They're just selling you shit. And it's like, that was like getting my Bike James site redone. That was, God, it was so fucking frustrating because I'm talking to the person. I'm asking the questions. And then you get like halfway into the process and you realize like, this motherfucker wasn't listening to me. They were just like, oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you need. Yeah, we can do that. Oh no, we do that all the time. And then you realize like, oh, wait a minute, that's not it. You weren't listening. And it was like the example I thought of, because I'm always like, thinking like I'm a trainer, a coach, whatever, is like you got like a trainer at a 24-hour fitness and they're really good at helping average people like lose some fat and get in shape, quote unquote. And then one day like a professional athlete comes in and he's looking for a trainer, and this trainer's like, oh yeah, I know how to get you into shape. And they're talking to the athlete, and the athlete's like, look, I got very specific things I want done. I need to, run faster. I need to, hit harder. Like it's not get in shape. It's specific shit. But, you get fucking people who don't know the
we're going to have our first.
Yes.
We're going to have a Grumpy Guy first.
Yes. This is going to be interesting.
We're having an Ambush podcast. We got our good friend and training partner, Corey The Maytag Mauler.
The Maytag Mauler.
Vendetti is coming over to fix my microwave because I ripped the fucking handle off like a gorilla, as you can see.
Jesus, buddy.
I was hungry one night. and he's coming over to fix it, but he doesn't know we're going to be here recording.
That's right.
And so
we're just going to let him walk in.
And we're just going to dupe him into being on the podcast.
We've even got a seat for him.
I pulled out a seat. He's ready to go.
That's awesome.
We'll see how he does this.
Come on in,
Corey.
Welcome to the podcast, my friend.
You are on the podcast as of right now.
You are our first uninvited guest.
Well, you were invited. You just didn't know what you were invited to.
You didn't know that you were invited, right? We knew you were coming. You didn't know that you were coming. So that's what makes you the uninvited guest. So,
have a seat, dude, if you want. If you got time, have a seat. Get on the podcast here, dude.
We scheduled this specifically around you coming.
Did you?
Yeah, we did. We planned this last night.
That's awesome.
Yep, we wanted to get the Mauler on. So
yeah, it was just kind of off. I was talking to James yesterday. I was like, "Hey, what time do you want to record tomorrow?" And he's like, "I don't know." He's like, "What do you got going on?" I was like, "Well, the Mauler's coming over to fix my microwave." And I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Why don't we see what time he's coming over and we can dupe him into being on the podcast?"
Right on. Does that mean I'm gonna be famous?
Possibly.
Infamous.
As famous as we are.
Among the 200. We've got our 200 fans.
That's my new dog you're messing with there. It's Frank.
You met Frank?
That's Frank Sinatra. No, he's only been home for a couple days now.
I hope you don't mind eventually, though. Like, the problem for me is, in my mind, the most famous Frank isn't Frank Sinatra.
Frank Costanza?
It's Frank the Tank.
Oh, Frank the Tank?
Frank the Tank, man.
No, man, he's Frank Sinatra.
I know. But I gotta say, like, he's got a little bit of like he's got the muscular build, he's got the big head, like he's a little bit of a tank.
Well, you have my permission to call him Frank the Tank.
I won't call him.
If that makes you happy.
I won't do it. He's Frank. I'll call him Frank Tank.
Looks like you got a new car over there.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, it's new to me, but
it's new to you.
I've had it for a little bit, probably about a year.
Yeah.
So.
Nice jacket.
Thanks.
It looks familiar.
Yeah. I can't remember where I got it from.
Somebody pretty awesome must have gave that to you. Probably for fixing my fucking dryer or something.
The barter system. Did you go on a train last night?
No. Did you?
That's enough.
No.
No.
How's your knee?
Yeah, how's the knee? We haven't talked to you about the knee.
Good, actually. Yeah, I was actually quite surprised. They looked at it and said everything is good.
So the MRI, there's nothing torn?
There's nothing torn. No, they looked at it. They thought it might be meniscus, but he did a bunch of movements and stuff and said it didn't feel like a torn meniscus. So I don't know what it is.
How's it feeling now?
It feels pretty good, actually.
Probably
just scar tissue, man.
Now that you have now that it's in your head that it's okay and not fucked up.
It's okay. It still hurts every now and then, but nothing I can't push through.
Yeah, that's good. I know you're not tearing it up.
More.
Yeah.
So, sweet.
Fucking A. What do you want to talk about, Corey? Yeah, drop some knowledge on
Platform's
the Grumpy.
yours.
It's yours, buddy.
Got any jiu-jitsu knowledge for us, man? What do you want to tell the white belts out there?
Let's start there. White. If you could go back and talk to white belt Corey.
Yes. What advice would you give white belt
What
Corey?
advice did I give white belt Corey?
That's quite a few
or just
years
white
ago.
belts in general.
Come on, Frank. What's enough?
Settle down and stop worrying about not being tough enough.
It's good advice.
That's pretty good advice. All right, come on.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
Yeah, I guess for, I don't know, probably till maybe about a year or two ago, I thought my problem and, one of the problems with losing competitions and stuff like that was just not being tough enough.
I don't think that was ever your problem.
It's funny to everybody that I tell that to.
Laughs at you.
Because
That's hilarious.
I can be tougher.
I just got to be tougher.
I can squeeze out 0.5% more toughness. No, man, that's definitely not your
That's not
your problem.
Not your problem.
No. So, that's good advice.
yeah, kind of had the blinders on, I guess.
It's hard to see yourself objectively.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. It is.
As most of us
have people around
point
point out your flaws.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think that's why the Mauler, right? Like that was more of a way to point out like this is,
Yeah, it wasn't exactly a compliment, I don't think.
No. It's like when people tell me. It's like when people tell me that I'm strong.
Don't
It's
get
like
me wrong. I like the nickname, but I definitely don't think it was a compliment.
That was Kevin inspired, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure that was from
Yeah,
Kevin.
it started as Maytag Mauler.
Yep. The Maytag Mauler.
Oh yes. No, it's good. It's the nickname suits you sometimes. You got your one gear. And then it's like I'm not being tough enough with this one pass. Right. But that's good that we're seeing other stuff. I think it's hard. I mean, you need to get in there and you're fucking. It's hard not to get blinders on when you're rolling.
Fuck yeah, it
It's
is.
super hard. Like you tell yourself all the time not to do it, have people tell you not to do it, and it's still like you get in there and it's like oh yeah, like I'm trying to, fucking tough my way through this position rather than change the fight or do something different. So it's
usually not the answer.
no.
It's usually not.
No.
You know what I think is a good tool, but I don't think people do more, or I should do more of, is videotaping yourself once in a while. That's kind of
that helps a lot.
Videotapes dates
Seeing
me,
yourself.
but you know what I mean. Fucking recording yourself.
Yeah.
Just once in a while, man. Set your
you'll
phone
look
up.
at yourself and be like, God, I look retarded.
Yeah, because you think you look so awesome. You're doing like, man, I'm like fucking Kyle Terror over here, fucking shit up. And you go home and watch the video. You're like, why did I do that? Why was I hopping around like I was a meth head?
Yeah, video's good.
And it's so easy nowadays. You know what I mean? With all our goddamn phones and whatever you got, it's so easy to record.
Yeah.
But we never do it.
No.
Very rarely do we do it.
No. We
You want something to drink, dude? You want water or
Oh,
something?
I'm good.
should do it more.
Actually,
Recording.
coffee.
I can make some coffee.
That sounds good.
You guys fucking talk. I'll talk. It's not like I have to go that far to make some coffee.
Make it all work. Yeah. So, all right. What else is new, Corey?
Got a new truck.
Did you?
Yeah, see that
A
big ass truck out
newish
there?
truck. I guess
Oh,
it's not really a new truck. It's just a big truck.
New to you.
Yeah,
Looks
it's
very
new.
redneckish.
It does, doesn't it?
No.
Thing's fucking.
You got a Confederate flag flying from the back or anything?
Oh, no. Confederate flags.
I can haul some shit in that, man.
Yeah, that's why I got it.
If I get stuck somewhere, I know who I'm calling. It's a miniature tow truck, man.
Move the fucking couch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I guess it's good.
Yeah, trying to sell my Toyota. Just getting more equipment.
Nice. Good shit. So, we got Kiele's training for her Proving Grounds Invitational
Yeah.
going on. So, yeah, got tonight. She's got to come in and do. I got her doing 2 8-minute rounds this week. Next week, she'll bump up to the full 3.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Like full on live, like competition, tournament style.
Yeah, which means you're going to do an 8-minute round and then you're going to fucking sit around for a while. And you're going to do another 8-minute round.
That does suck about tournaments. Yeah, I really hate that space in between.
Yeah, that's the tough thing,
man. It's really
man.
hard to stay warm. It's kind of like get warm, get cold.
Yeah, you got to, that's part of the skill of it. So it's not just training harder. It's like getting the body and the brain ready to deal with the realities of competition, which are usually much different.
When are you competing again?
I don't know, man. Maybe No-Gi Worlds.
That's what.
I'll have been a year.
When did you compete last?
No-Gi Worlds.
When was that? Last year?
Yeah, last December.
Last December?
Yeah. No, it's just been. It's tough to get away and compete, man. Like, I mean, just in general, like where we live, it's not like living in Denver or, you know, like some area where there's tournaments going on within a couple hour drive. So you could just make a day trip out of it. It's like if we're going to compete, it's a trip. It's like you got to go. And I mean, we've tried. I remember with one of Kiele's competitions, we drove over, she competed, and then we drove back. And, you know, I drove both ways, and she was the one competing. I was basically being her manager, whatever you want to call it. And, but dude, that sucked.
Yeah.
You know, that's not something that you want to do, especially, I mean, I hate to say it, at 43 years old, man, that's a lot of time.
I've done that before.
I met one night I drove over to Denver, competed, and drove back the same day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got here at like 4 o'clock in the morning. That was probably the most retarded thing
I like how you stopped yourself.
Retarded thing related to jiu-jitsu on that day. Okay, yeah.
That year, that was the most retarded thing I've done.
Yeah.
Dude, I've done the same thing. Drove over there, competed, drove back. You know.
Yeah.
That's not safe. That drive back.
It's not, man.
No,
It's not safe. It's not sustainable.
I really don't remember anything between Rifle and Grand Junction.
Yeah, it's not, but you know, so you do it once, just be like, oh yeah, that's why we don't do this. No. But yeah, if you're going to compete, you got to stay overnight on one end, either drive up, stay, and compete and drive back, or
even both ends. But then
that's the best way. That's optimal, right?
But optimal for your body, but for your bank account, it's not.
No, right.
You know, 2 nights. Then you got the extra night in the hotel,
extra night eating
and stuff,
and all that other stuff. Yep.
How's your knee doing?
She's feeling strong.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna start beating up women and children. I think. I don't want to wrestle with you savages yet.
It's a good place to start.
But I figure I can physically assault some women.
Yeah.
And be safe.
Yeah.
So maybe even some smaller white belts.
Yeah.
That no big white belts that I can't just grab and control.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. You know, there's a couple I got in mind. But I'll start with women.
Yeah. Are you trying snowboard this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna ski. I'm switching over to skiing.
That's
way better for your knees.
Yeah, it's way safer for knees.
You're trying to go on your third knee.
Said no one to anybody ever. I still got the other knees never had surgeries on, so we can fucking go that route. No, man, I'm getting a whole alpine touring set up. You know, the kind of skis to where you lock your heel in, so when you're going downhill, it's just like an alpine ski. But then if you want to like climb uphill, you can pop your heel out, then you can go uphill like you're cross country skiing.
Nice.
So I'm getting the whole. So I already got the skis ordered. I'm just waiting for them to show up. My buddy Joel, firefighter Joel, hooked me up with a deal on bindings.
Yeah.
He can get me a deal on everything,
nice.
All kinds of gear. So. Yep. Surgeon gave me the go ahead. He's like, yeah, fucking, you'll be good to go, man. Start skiing.
So. Nice.
Sweet.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, man. Be good to get you back in there.
Yeah, I'm pumped to start. I was even thinking about I might start beating up some women tonight. If there's some women to train with that can physically assault.
Yeah. I'm sure Angela will take it easy on you.
Yeah, she'd be an easy one.
I'm going to go tonight.
Start with. Have you trained since you found out about your knee? I haven't seen you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a couple
been
times.
In there.
Not as much as I probably should, but never as much as I probably should. I actually put it down on paper the other day, like everything I wanted to do, because I've been going to the Mesa Fitness. While I thought I wasn't going to be able to use my knee for a while.
All right.
I was hitting that pretty good. But I put it on paper the other day, and I was like, man, everything I want to do, I'm going to be working out like 20 hours a week. To cut some of this stuff off. Like, it always feels like you can do it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, I guess this isn't really going to work out that in reality with a family and 2 businesses and going to EMT class.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot you were doing the EMT thing.
Yeah, what is up? Yeah, I thought I heard something about that. What is, you just need something else to do? You bored?
Just need something else to do. No, I don't know. I'm going to try and get on with the fire department here pretty soon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just because something you want to do? Or, I mean...
Yeah, just something I want to do.
You got the...
I'm trying to make my business passive. So
Yeah, that's what I was
have to be,
saying.
like,
Or gonna
just
ask.
president. I got 3 people working for me now. Appliance one, and the building stuff, I subcontract everything anyway, so I basically I'm a glorified checkbook that decides when I'm satisfied and when it's time to write a check.
Cool.
There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, no, I know.
No, I assumed that was all there was to it.
Right. On the surface, it seems also simple.
On the surface, that's what I thought getting into it too. I was like, man, this is going to be easy, and it's not really.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, problems increase by factors, not multiples. But anyways, so
I was gonna ask you something else. Oh, knee. Are you going to any physical therapy at all?
No, they just told me if it he said if I can. I mean, they started going to that mode where they're like, okay, let's deal with this pain. I'm like, it's not really that intense, you know? It's not something that I feel like I can't push through. I just don't want to be tearing stuff. Mm-hmm. And he said, yeah, if it doesn't bother you, go for it. And it's just every once in a while when I make very specific movements, it kind of intense for a second and then it goes away. And it's...
Dude, you gotta get on the ISOs, man.
Yeah.
You come in.
He said he thought it was just tendonitis.
Well, that's code for they don't know what the fuck's going on.
It's anytime they usually when they put an itis on the end of something, it's usually
an inflamed.
We know what's going on. We don't know why it's going on. So, but you came in. What, this last Saturday?
Yeah, last Saturday.
Grumpy Guy?
Yeah.
Dude, if you I sound like a goddamn broken record these days with the isometric shit, but it's, one day of the banded stuff.
Yeah.
And one day of the ramping, the belted stuff. And, man, if you just did that twice a week.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't need that other...
that other stuff.
That other stuff, man. No.
Just BS guy.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, would you concur or because if he's really busy, right? Like his deal is he's so busy.
No, like
that's what I've been doing mostly when I go to Mesa is cardio.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're getting a lot of jiu-jitsu training in, I mean, we're not getting any younger, man. You can't be doing a ton of strength and conditioning because your body's going to give.
Yeah.
And so if you're getting a lot, I mean, we could debate how much is a lot, but if you're training, rolling a lot, yeah, just once or twice a week of the isos is plenty. And you could do some extra stuff for your knee, doing some single leg stability type stuff.
Dude, so good for your knee.
So good for your knee. You'd be amazed how good it feels. Like that's a big part of my rehab is I used a lot of isometric shit.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I'm still not back to wrestling yet, so I work out like a fucking idiot, like a maniac all the time.
Yeah, you
I know, that's why I can see you struggling with is all you need isometrics? Because you've kind of forgotten
because I'm not wrestling.
I know, No, if you're not wrestling, then filling in the gaps with other stuff.
Dude, speaking of that, I got a blue collar hack for us working folks. Dude, something I've been doing just this past 2 weeks. So when I get home from work at night, and this is the advantage of having a gym out in my garage, right? Because I got everything I need out there.
Yeah.
And so Monday night, I worked out Monday before I went to work. I got home and I was like, man, I need to do some other shit. But it's 9 o'clock at night and I don't want to dedicate a full hour to working out. Because I get home, I got to take care of all my shit in my lunchbox, repack stuff. Dude, there's things to do.
Shit to do.
Right? So, get this. Dude, this is fucking killer. I just want to stop this. So is what I did. This might be shit audio quality, but fuck it.
It's got you, man.
We're not quite a professional podcast here. So is what I was doing. So I set up my back squat. So I went out in the garage, I do my back squat, and then I set my timer I do back squats and then pull-ups. And then I set the timer for 2 minutes rest, and I come in, and in that 2 minutes, I was taking care of all my shit I needed to in here, food prep, this and that. 2 minutes was up, then I'd go back outside, do my set, And I just did that back and forth. So not, because usually during your 2-minute rest, you're just fucking sitting there, not doing anything. You're just sitting there like a fucking dope, and I got shit to do. And so
shit to do.
And so, you want a cup of coffee, James?
Yeah, man, why not?
And so, yeah, man,
That's a good hack.
I was coupling my fucking working out with my getting shit done during my 2-minute rest period.
Nice.
I was pretty pumped on that, man. I was like, man, I need to fucking sell a blue collar working man instructional on this shit and how to do it.
At that point, I think I'm working too much. I need to figure out how to work less.
All right, here's you guys' coffee. You got some Laird Superfood cacao creamer, or I just got some milk.
I'll take some cacao creamer, man.
You want to scoop it
Yeah, man. Hook me up. You know how to do it.
Yeah, Rob's fucking coffee bar.
Rob's
here.
coffee bar.
Rob's coffee bar.
It's awesome.
Spoons, that one's clean. There's some in that drawer.
So it's funny you mentioned pull-ups because I got to talk some shit about pull-ups.
Why? Because you can't.
Why?
Yep.
Because you got fucked up elbows.
Exactly. So anything I can't do, I can't ride clipless pedals, so I talk shit about them and create a flat pedal.
All right, so tell me why you think pull-ups.
Well, you know, I mean, I've talked about it before. Like, what functional purpose do pull-ups serve?
Getting over walls and stuff like that.
But one wall, one time. When are you doing 5, 10, 15, 20 in a row? So I'm not saying a singular pull-up, the ability to pull your body weight up isn't functional. I'm saying the exercise of pull-ups where you are doing multiple reps in a row. Like, what functional purpose does that serve? What are you simulating in real life when you do that?
American Ninja Warrior course, obviously.
Again, though, man, like it's you pull yourself up and then you're doing something else, and then you pull yourself up, and even climbing, you know, is like it's a coordinated effort between the exactly.
I actually took some classes on that a long time ago.
So I've been I've laughed at Rob about this a couple times because he loves his pull-ups.
I do all sorts of versions of them.
Oh, I know, dude, and your shoulders love them too. And
thank you. Saying I'm getting jacked? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, is that what that is? The tension.
That's how I took
that. No. But so Kelly and I were talking about it the other night, and we came up with what it is. Okay, so say someone throws you down a well, okay, and you got to climb up, and say there's like a bar or there's something across the top of the well, and you get to the top of the well and you grab it, and now you got to pull yourself up and see if they're still there. Right? They threw you down once, and so you don't want them to throw you down again. And say they're there, and so you drop down. And then you pull yourself back up to see if they're still there. And then they're still there, and you drop back down. So you may have to pull yourself up and down a few times before they leave. So I stand corrected. There is a functional use for pull-ups.
Okay, so
if you find yourself down a well, and you got to repeatedly pull yourself up to see if the people who threw you down are still there, I can see why you need that in your program. So,
okay. So I think this still falls into the category. James has fucked up elbows. He can't do pull-ups, so he tries to reason his way out of it.
That's okay
because they're a great strength building exercise.
Are they?
And
what is strength? Don't get me started on that. Right? Okay, it's a movement. You can't use a movement based.
And so we've discussed the term functional is kind of bullshit. Dysfunctional training, right?
Right.
And your training program should be filling gaps that you're not doing in your outside life. So unless you are getting regularly thrown down a well and having to look for your assailant up above, you're not doing reps of pulling yourself to the top. So your training program should fill that gap in case that happens. For said well throwing.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I stand corrected. There is a functional use for pull-ups, and it is the multiple pull-up out of the well solution. So
yeah, I guess climbing over dryers and washers sometimes, but I use my legs too, so that's not
yeah.
I switch it up. Like I did supine rows today. Like I got the ropes, like basically Olympic rings, but I got ropes hanging, and I put my lower half, my feet up on the Swiss ball that Corey's sitting on, and so my body's parallel to the earth, and then I did supine rows like that. Yeah. That was my pulling today. So
yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely like you need to be able to pull yourself up. Mm-hmm. I just, again, if we're talking functional training, right? Like, what are you simulating? Because you should be saying like, okay, well, when I'm doing a deadlift, I'm simulating picking something up off the ground. When I'm doing a squat,
But that's bullshit too. Because how often is a weight on that barbell in front
exactly,
of you.
Right? Like, so that's the whole, again,
you can do that with every exercise.
It's made up gym bullshit.
Right.
And on some level, like,
right.
That's why.
I don't know, picking up a transmission.
But again, like, it's not balanced.
But it's not going to be, it's not going to be even
Right,
balanced.
yeah, like what's more, and so again, it's all on a spectrum. Like if you're looking like back in the day when we did bodybuilding training and it was training by anatomy, right? So you did hamstrings and quads and you're doing leg curls and leg extensions and shit like that. You know, is a deadlift more functional for an athlete than a leg curl or leg extension, right? Like all things being equal, right? Like you can always create a scenario where you could argue either point, but I would say yeah, right? But then is doing like a sandbag or like lifting a rock or something like that, is that more functional than a deadlift? I would say like, yeah, probably, And so like for you, the most functional thing's picking up a transmission, right? Like that's what you fucking do,
Yeah.
right? So if you're talking about functional training and you're basically talking about practicing functional movement, the most functional movement that you fucking do is what you do.
What you do for a living.
What you do in your everyday life and for your sport and stuff like that. And so that's why like I am convinced like using movement-based training to build strength is the wrong way to go about it. Like if you're moving, you're not building strength. You're building movement. You're working on like that, your ability to apply tension to a movement, not the actual skill of creating tension and how you're creating the tension. So like isometrics is the only way to work on that like elemental nature of strength, which is tension, right? And then everything else is applying tension to a movement. And if you're trying to use a movement to build strength, then you're kind of going about it backwards.
I agree, but I see like you got to be strong through a movement. And I think if you were to only say if you went extreme, if you were to all your strength training was isometrics of some version, yielding, ramping, whatever you did.
And then my sport.
And then your sport.
Right.
But then
and I never did a deadlift. So my deadlift sucked.
Anything else.
Yep.
I think you're missing some things, man. I'm not saying you got to go heavy powerlifter style, but I just think one thing, as we get older, we lose muscle mass. It's proven.
Yeah.
And I think doing some bodybuilder type stuff and trying to maintain muscle mass as we get older is fucking important, man.
It is. But
you look fucking jacked.
Time under tension is the most important factor for that. And what's better for time under tension than isometrics?
True.
So again, like we're talking, so for me, I feel like the argument is I think isometrics are a big rock. Like they're a major big rock.
But not the only rock.
They're not the only big rock, right? And so for me, it's like if you're going to pick one rock that you're going to lean on, I'd pick that one over a movement-based program. Like if you're going to pick one, right? If you're going to pick one or the other, and your goal is to build strength for some sort of functional purpose, like doing a sport like jiu-jitsu, I would pick the isometric one. I think that you would get more from doing isometrics plus your sport, and your chance of injury is going to be less. Your ability to put more energy into training, the amount of time you have to put into training, all that stuff is going to be better with an isometric program than a movement-based program. But optimal is to use both, right? But you have to have that isometric foundation, and then you add in the movement-based stuff, and on top of that, but that's not how it's looked at in the strength training world, right? Like it's movement-based shit is your foundation,
and then sprinkled in is isometric.
Isometrics might be like this little thing at the top, right? And so that's where I think people get all fucked up. But that's why I think you need it, because it would help you get that foundation that you need, and then you may find that you don't need to spend as much time doing other shit.
In the last couple weeks,
It's Mauler's phone.
Mauler's phone.
This is part of our unprofessional. We've had a very unprofessional podcast today, but
that's all right. You can take a business call, man.
No, it's just something.
Good.
Yeah, don't let our podcast stop making money. That's for sure. I got an edit button here. It's super easy to fix.
So. But yeah, that's the more I get into it, man, the more I realize that's the thing. You need those isometrics to build that foundational element of strength, and then you can use the movement stuff to apply that to different stuff. But like And again, like I think that a big element that people are missing is play, right? So just going out and going on a fucking hike and
like
just
the mace run.
Yeah, like a mace run, exactly. You're going out and you're like picking up rocks and you're throwing shit and you're like, if you're doing stuff like that, and so like that's movement, like again, so like you can fill in. It doesn't all have to be in the gym, right? Like, so I'd rather be lifting fucking rocks than doing deadlifts. Like every time I try to do deadlifts with a fucking bar, man, like my back does not like it.
You know what I like better is single leg deadlifts with like kettlebells.
Yeah.
Like kettlebell on each side of your lead leg.
Yeah.
And kind of
you're
like,
inside the weight. So
you're
the
inside the
weight
weight.
in front of
Yeah,
you.
you're inside the weight like a trap bar deadlift, right?
Yep.
But doing single leg, dude, for getting your legs strong and stable, coming back from knee injury is fucking money, dude.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Single leg stuff, yeah. I mean the time stuff, man, like the lunges and just doing like body weight squat holds and stuff. That's it literally changes how your body's recruiting muscles to be there. So it gotta have it in there. But anyways, I got some shit I'm working on. I'll give you some workouts. And you still, the thing is like the bands, like if you're gonna do movement based training, like you can use bands for all that shit. Like you don't have to have weights, and bands are great for like a bunch of different reasons. But because they get harder as you move through the range of motion. Like you're actually working the full range of motion more fully. Like with a dead weight, there's only one point in the range of motion you're maximally overloading, and so you're exposing all the other links in the chain to like less than optimal loading. And so again, if you're saying like, well, I need to be strong through the full movement, it's like, well, doing regular deadlifts isn't really getting you strong through the full movement. It's you're doing the movement, but you can only argue that you're getting stronger in one point of the movement, because that's the weak link. That's the point that's getting overloaded. That's the only thing that's actually, you know what I mean? Like the rest of the movement isn't actually getting stronger.
Well, and that's why, like the West Side guys, they do rack pulls, lifts off pins, different heights, deadlifts at a deficit. They'll be up on fucking plates and boxes and shit for that exact principle.
Right.
It's because when you are doing deadlifts, it is.
But again, their sport is lifting
their sport
weights.
is lifting that weight. That is their move.
Yes.
That's like us drilling arm bars.
Exactly. So if you peel back like what they're doing, what is practicing their sport versus
strength,
what are they doing to kind of build those foundational elements of strength, and you were to separate those things, like you would see the isometrics and the bands and the chains were the things that they were using for that, and then they had others, like the heavy, a lot of their weightlifting shit was practicing like specific shit for lifting weights. Mm-hmm. And if that's your sport, and so for us, you can get rid of all that shit and just put in jiu-jitsu.
See, I think that's a lot.
That's the formula.
We've talked about that before. I think a lot of people fuck that up. Is they look at strength training programs and they get strength training programs from people that is their sport, is strength based sport, and so that's what they're doing. That's what I should do.
Olympic lifting, or powerlifting.
You're missing the picture. You're missing the big picture here.
So you try to custom tailor all of your stuff to jiu-jitsu, both of you?
Yes. Basically, basically.
It's not really that we custom tailor. It's not the workouts. It's not like I'm going like, kind of yes, kind of no, but it's more like I'm looking at my workout program has to help my jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
it can't take from it. Yeah.
And so if I'm coming in sore and tired, if I'm running the risk of an injury or something like that, like that's not really helping my jiu-jitsu. So
he doesn't like the ceiling fan. This is a new thing for him. He's a new dog. He just came home Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I don't think in his shelter life and his previous life he was exposed to ceiling fans.
Yeah.
So once in a while he'll catch sight of it out of the corner of his eye and he's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
He did that yesterday. He was looking at the ceiling fan and then he realized he's like, oh, there's other shit up there, and he saw my surround sound speakers up in the corner. Dude, he was staring at my surround sound speaker for like fucking 10 minutes. Like, what is that thing up there? Sorry.
No,
derailed the conversation there.
Yeah. No, that's it. Because one of the problems is people go like, oh, I got to get stronger to improve my sport. And so they start trying to lift to get stronger. right? And so, but there was a good quote I read the other day. Is like when a measurement starts to be used as a goal, it's no longer a good measure. And so if you're looking at, okay, a good jiu-jitsu athlete is, if you were to measure them, they tend to have better strength to body weight ratios than your average guys, right? So they can deadlift more weight. And so then you look at it and you're like, well, the better guys can deadlift more weight. So that means that if I deadlift more weight, I'll be better at jiu-jitsu. And so then the deadlift becomes the goal. You start lifting to improve your deadlift. And now it's no longer a good measurement. Like it should be like something you go back and check on occasion to see, like, is my overall program doing what it needs to be doing? And if it is, you'll be able to deadlift more weight without trying to deadlift more weight. But if you're not, then you should be going back to your overall program and being like, well, why do I not have the strength to weight ratios that I need, to be successful at the sport? But yeah, that's where we get backwards. That's, I've fallen into that trap. It's
I've
super
definitely fallen
easy.
into that trap. It's really easy.
You're like, if I'm stronger, I'll be better. And so what's the best way to get stronger? I need to lift more weight. So that becomes the goal. And that's again why I like the isometrics for strength, because you're not lifting weights. You're building strength in a safe way, and then you're using the movement-based stuff just to practice movement. And so you're not going 100% on it because there's no need to. And so you keep yourself safe because you're not pushing the limits like you are if you're trying to use, like if you're trying to use deadlifts to get stronger, you're gonna have to lift some fucking weight, right? But if you're just using it to practice picking shit up off the ground, it's like, whatever. I lift what allows me to do it right. Yeah. Right? Like doing arm bars, it only go as fast as you can do it right. Only lift as much weight as you can do it right. Like if you're practicing something, it's different. But if we're trying to use arm bars to get in shape, right? Like, yeah, right? I mean, you can see that though. Like you look at someone who's really good at the arm bar drill and they're like, and you're like, oh, they can get in 50 in a minute or whatever. Right? I'm just pulling a number out of my ass. And then you're looking at it and you go, well, if I can do 50 in a minute too, I'm going to be better. Like the better guys can do this, so I'm going to train to do that. And you just like, that's your goal. Like instinctively, like that's the wrong way to go about it. Like as your arm bars get better and as your movement gets better and as these other things get better, that drill will get better. So that drill is just a measurement. It's not the goal. And so, but that's how we get it turned around in the gym. We go in and we're like, oh, the better guys can lift more weight, so I need to lift more weight. And it's like, no, dude, you don't need to do the arm bar drill faster, right? You need to get better at your arm bars. You need to get better at moving. You need to get better at the foundational stuff behind that, and then that'll just fucking manifest itself. So it's the Platonic versus Aristotelian approach, right? So Plato's more like...
Plato versus Aristotle.
Yeah. Aristotle's very numbers driven. Plato's like the forms, like what is the perfect jiu-jitsu player? If I focus on that, this other shit will take care of itself. But Aristotle says, no, I can break down the perfect jiu-jitsu player by the numbers, and then let's focus on that. And it's not that either one, they're both right? Like
you got to see you got to figure out what fits you, what method.
For sure. How would you know your program's not working if you're not measuring something? Right? But if you think the measurements are all that there are, then you miss part of it too. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I guess when I really get going, I mostly just like jiu-jitsu is my whole workout.
Yeah.
Well, it should be. It's fucking fun. That's what we like to do. You know what I mean? But dude, what's a better way to get exercise than trying to strangle your friends while they're trying to strangle you? Like, it's fun as shit, man.
It's fun.
I think another good thing, I introduced Nate to this past week was my stick mobility stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, right on.
Yeah, I got it. I even Nate took one of my sticks home.
Oh, sweet.
To use, and I think he said he's going to order one. I just gave him like a real cursory, 5-minute introduction.
Yeah.
I'll have to run you through some stuff, dude. Those, I don't know if you've seen them out in my garage yet. They're basically just big PVC pipes with fucking rubber on the ends.
Yeah.
That's really what they are. But then they put a sticker on them, and then they charge you fucking $80 for them. But they're a good tool. They really are. I think, working on mobility stuff, I think would be helpful for you too.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I do a shit ton of that stick mobility. I
haven't
gotten a stick yet. I just got my broomsticks.
That was one thing they said at the doctors. They were actually surprised of my flexibility, but they look at old shot up veterans all day too. So
Yeah.
But yeah, he was when he was looking at my knee, he's like, "Yeah, you're really flexible compared to most of the people you."
Well, dude, you're active.
Yeah,
You're doing
you're
jiu-jitsu.
a pretty healthy individual, you know. You
kind of have to. It's really hard if you do jiu-jitsu for.
Which is funny because right now I don't feel like I feel like super unhealthy. I know I'm not like my out of shape is comparable to a lot of other people's like in shape,
Tip-top condition.
Yeah, tip-top condition. But yeah, I definitely don't feel like I've been doing enough. So.
Yep. Well,
But I guess that never really ends, does it?
It never ends. Never ends. That's how I came into me packing my lunchbox in my 2-minute rest sets.
Yeah.
I'm out there doing
Yeah,
curls for the girls and then coming in, fucking packing my lunchbox and out there fucking doing some more curls.
Yeah.
Getting jacked. 10 o'clock at night out there lifting weights.
So
That's
much
one
of
thing.
it,
That's
man.
probably one thing that's fallen off the wagon lately is my diet too. My
Yeah.
diet sucks lately. It consists of pretty much whatever lunch place happens to be closest to where I'm at.
That's what it is.
You gotta plan.
It's
You gotta
not your
plan.
nutrition, man.
You got
It's
to
your
plan,
eating
brother.
out.
To eat, dude. Us working folks, if you want to be healthy, man, it takes a fair amount of planning. You got to plan and pack. There's no way around it because you think you can have good discipline. Like, I'll find something healthy to eat when I get hungry. The hungrier you get and the more crunch on time you got, you're like, oh, look, there's fucking Freddy's Steak and Shake over there. Let's go hit Freddy. You know what I mean? I don't falter from that, man. Like, I fucking every weekend I meal prep. I pack all my fucking lunches 5 for 5 days. Like, even I don't work today. I still got fucking lunches packed. I'm ready to fucking rock and roll. You know what I mean? Like, you have to.
Yeah,
Like, if you want to be healthy,
meeting
fucking,
with nutritionists, me and my wife here
Are you?
soon. Yeah, we had some genetic testing done. So
I'm sorry, dude. What did they find?
yeah, with the,
Sorry.
divulge. Yes,
I don't
with
know
the,
yet.
You
I haven't
haven't
had
seen
the consult yet. Yeah.
Okay.
So what is it like a genetic test to see what diet's going to be good for you? Like food
Yeah.
Is it a food allergen test?
You're
No,
gonna
it's
find
just-
out he's like 12% African or something.
No, it's not like that kind of a genetic.
Oh.
It's not.
Oh,
an
it's not a
ancestry test.
23andMe. Oh.
The whole point of it is supposed to be able to tell me like what kind of nutrients my body absorbs the best.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I've heard of these. Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'll let you know how it goes.
that's fucking sweet. Where'd you get that done at?
Amy Hill Fife Physical Therapy,
Huh? How much that run you, if you don't mind me asking?
$500 each.
Oh, really? It ain't cheap
Yeah,
then,
it's
huh?
not cheap. No.
Well,
yeah,
nothing will get commitment like $500.
No.
I'll bet you'll do what she says at least for a bit.
She might tell you you're good to eat donuts, and then you're fucked. You're gonna be eating donuts like crazy.
Yeah, I've already been eating donuts like crazy, so nothing really changed that much.
Yeah.
James likes his donuts. That's why I brought him
Well, I
up.
like donuts, man.
Donuts are the best, dude.
I just can't have them around. That's the thing.
Yeah, you freaking like I try to tell my wife when she goes to the store sometime, I'm like, grab me a donut, and then she'll come back with like
Oh,
after they've closed it all out, if one of
Yeah.
those things is 6.
It's
And I'm
such a
just
great
like-
deal. It's
Yeah.
like, no, I don't.
Doesn't matter.
Dude, I
Yeah.
Cause I'll eat them if there's
Four of them will
fucking.
be gone before,
Yes, dude,
before
it was-
we even go to bed.
something. Oh, we were at Target the other day, and there was a sugar cookie that was calling my name.
Yeah.
And Kieli's like, we can get this box of sugar cookies for like, just a little bit more. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm not looking for the best deal. I want this one sugar cookie,
That's it.
and I don't want
Yeah.
any more.
Because if I
want
buy 12, guess what? I'm eating 10 of those.
Yeah,
Eat 'em
exactly.
all.
10 of those in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
On the way home, and then your stomach hurts.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, man, it's those habits. That Atomic Habits book was great.
That's a good book.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I read that too.
Did you?
Have you read it? James
Yeah.
Clear? That's a good book.
I got Shiloh
Power
on
of
it
Habit?
now.
No, Atomic
Power Habits
Habits.
different.
Atomic Habits.
Yeah, the Power Habits. That's a good one too.
That's a good one
different
too. That's a little older.
Who-
That one's
that's
been out for a few
God,
years.
Is that the Stephen Covey book? I can't remember who wrote that. No, it's not Stephen Covey. It's
I forget. I listened to the audio book. It was a while back, but yeah, the main takeaway I had from that is like you can't break bad habits. You have to replace them with other habits. Like
you're talking Atomic Habits.
No,
Or,
like the
Power Habits.
habit
Yeah,
or whatever.
it is,
Yeah, like you're not, and within that, you like creating good habits is centered around like your environment and the triggers in it, and so yeah, it's all, you're not gonna break a bad habit. You gotta create an environment where you're gonna have a good habit take its place instead, and so That's I know Shiloh. We had to hit a hard reset on her. Man, she was just had all these bad habits, and so I walk into her room and I'm like, it's just covered in so much shit, man. And it starts when they're little kids, right? Like they just get toys and then more toys, and then they get stuffed animals. I try to stop them
from getting toys and more toys. It doesn't work.
It doesn't
Everybody
work.
that comes over to our house brings our kids something.
Oh my God, yeah.
Stop,
So
please.
they grow up in this chaotic environment, and then all of a sudden they're 14 years old and just completely at the mercy of their habits. And I was like, that's it. We're getting rid of everything. And so we stripped everything down, got rid of everything off of her desk and off her bookshelves. And I was like, everything that's not essential for everyday life and school, you got to get rid of. And so we got her putting out her workout clothes at night before she gets up, and she got her Kindle sitting there because she's got to get back on her hour of power, as we call it. She's got her meditation, and then she does a workout, and then she reads or does something, like if she is doing like some online art class or something, but something to like expand her skill sets, because without it, man, she'll just fall into what's comfortable. And God, dude, that's the hardest thing, is getting out of that rut. So hard reset on the environment. Just went Spartan.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know I was telling you last night or yesterday, I knew you'd like it. This is Uncle Rob style.
Yep.
So
it's environment, man. So much of what you do, your habits, you don't realize all the triggers that you have in place that are just around your house and just your everyday life. Yeah. Until you sit down and think about it, dude, you don't realize it. You don't even realize some of your habits until you really think about it. And next thing you're just doing something, you're like, why am I doing this right now?
Yeah.
What is happening?
What's going on?
What do I
really want?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. And then, dude, you get kids. That's the hardest thing, man. Like they introduce, you lose control of your environment.
Yeah.
Like once you introduce kids, I mean, on some level you lose control of it when you introduce like a significant other. But there's usually some compatibility and stuff, or else you wouldn't have.
God, you hope so, right?
You'd hope so, right?
You would hope. One would think.
One would think. But let's say it was, somewhat, right? Or at least it's things that you can overlook, right? So that opposites attract thing can be true. But then you get kids, man, and you just have no fucking control over these people. Like, they're completely individual people. You can see, like, they come out of the box a certain way. Like, you have some influence, but it's not, it's like 50-50 maybe. But now you've got these people, these other human entities living in your space. And they're completely unreasonable, right? You can't, right? How are you going to reason with a kid?
You sound like you just had kids, man. Like, it's all novel.
Well, no, man. It's just when I think about it, it's an interesting situation, because you have to be super extra diligent when you become a parent. Because, I mean, how many people, like, having kids is one of the things. It's like, man, you have snack foods around all the time. Your environment is so easy to let your environment become a mess, because it's just constant fighting, like, to pick stuff up or, whatever. And you get busy, so you got to carve out that time. You have to have the time to do the things for yourself. And if you don't have stuff set up to do that, right? Yeah. So
it's definitely more work half the time to make them clean their stuff up than it is for you to do it.
But
But
you have to do it.
We had to have that fight with my wife several times. I'm like, no, make them do it. Even though it's more work now, because later on,
because you got to teach them.
Yeah, we're a parent, man. We're not just running a corporation.
Right.
We're actually, it's not just the most efficient thing is this. It's like, no, we're trying to, like, raise good kids and teach them some lessons.
We have, like, probably an easier time with the snacks because my kids have such a specific diet they have to follow. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. They got a lot of food allergies and stuff.
Allergies.
Both your kids?
My older one's not that bad. She's allergic to cheese. But the younger one, I mean, she's allergic to so many things that, like, anaphylaxis type of allergies.
Like severe. Huh?
Yeah, she's had it a couple times too.
Damn.
Couple times she's had to get stuck with the EpiPen.
Is that kind of what motivated you guys to get this test done?
No, the motivation for the test was just I guess I need someone to tell me what to eat. I'm terrible at cooking.
I could have done that, man. You could have gave me $250, and I'd have fucking set you up.
500 from the twosie.
500 from both of you. I could have cut you a deal, boy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've heard about it in top level athletes, that genetic stuff. So I kind of wanted to see what it would be like what they end up saying. I mean, half of me thinks it's like witch doctor science too.
No, man, I think there's something to it.
Yeah,
I think there is. I'd be in there. It's cool you're doing it.
Yeah, people are all different, so nobody absorbs everything the same, and nobody.
No, that's what I'm saying, man. You're gonna find out you're 12% African. You should be eating ostrich or something like that, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do if that comes back? Ostrich meat. How specific is this? I'll be interested to hear what they.
I would be here.
Like,
I
exactly.
don't think it's gonna be like that specific. It's more like a balance of proteins and, whether you need more meat or.
Right.
Which is like interesting. I think that's another reason we kind of did it, because we started talking about what we eat all the time, and I like to eat meat a whole heck of a lot more, and I feel better when I do. It's not just like something to do because it tastes good. It's like I actually feel better when I eat meat than pasta, and my wife is like almost 100% pasta all the time. It's like nothing but noodles, and more noodles. Yeah.
And she's a little girl too. It's not like she's a big girl.
And she's got some allergies too, so I think it makes up for, some of the stuff that she can't eat probably, because she's got to eat all gluten-free pasta. So I have to eat gluten-free pasta because she has to eat gluten-free pasta. Either that or we make, 7 different types of spaghetti. And that stuff is not good.
I don't care what they say. It's not the same,
stuff.
man.
It's just like. She was all excited because they make some like gluten-free chocolate. I'm like ate one day, and I was like, man,
chocolate doesn't have gluten in it, does it?
We're not.
Shouldn't.
I guess you're right. It's not for the gluten. It was for.
Is it like a cookie or something? Like
that's what. Yeah, it was cookies.
The gluten-free chocolate chip cookies.
Glutino cookies. That's what it was.
Garbage. You compare that. you compare that to a regular homemade chocolate chip cookie. You're like, you might as well be eating poison. Like,
this
what is this?
episode is not brought to you by Glutino's cookies.
Sorry, Glutinos people. If you are gluten-free and you need to eat a snack, that's not bad. But if you can eat a real chocolate chip cookie,
everything's relative, man.
True.
I think that's what it is.
When I'm really in a snack mood, I'll grab one of those and be like, I guess. Like, this is what we got. So
yeah, see, it's all contextual.
I don't know. A lot of it's like we were talking about, the timing thing, and that's what I've been paying attention to. A lot of like really top level performers put their in business world, that is, I suppose jiu-jitsu and athletics too, but put like everything on the schedule, like including time to relax. All planned out from freaking start to finish, and that's what I've kind of been doing a little bit of. But
carve it out, or carve out that time. Yeah, man, I'll tell you, there's a fine line, right? Like, because again, there's a tension between the two extremes, like no planning at all versus like down to every 15 minutes, you know exactly what you're doing. Like, and I've tried both, and it's difficult to maintain. Yeah. Especially if you have a family, man. Like, I hate to say it, but so many people who are...
Your family derails you from that
Oh, my
stuff,
God,
like
yeah,
nothing,
man.
Like,
what are you going to do?
Business. It's just like...
oh, no, I'm sorry, sick daughter. I can't, help you today. You're not on the schedule. I'm supposed to be...
I got my bench press scheduled in. Yeah. How am I going to get jacked?
I got to... whatever fucking, business thing I got. And so, it's... you definitely got to find the balance between it. It's something I had to do, too. I had just recently, man, because you find yourself floating, right, between the extremes, and I'd gotten way too floaty. As Rob and I have come to term the schedule, like, because you're in the same boat I am, where you are your boss, and you have some things on the schedule, but there's not like a whole lot of super hard times, and I'm just assuming, so you don't have to be like a lawyer where you're like, you got business meetings here, and all these calls scheduled and shit. So it's like you can have a little more flexibility with it.
It's a lot of project coordination is what,
right.
It's the growth from this whole year is what, we've started employing people, and so it used to be like that for me, where it was kind of like regimented, where I had to be with service calls and stuff like that. And now it's kind of like I could do nothing all day.
So speaking of that, like if you have to go because we hijacked you for this podcast, don't hesitate to fucking speak up.
No, I'm fine. I was planning on pretty much taking it easy today anyway, so.
All right, perfect.
See?
Yeah.
That's right. Rob's got some fucking 2 friends who can just come over and hang out in the middle of a Friday afternoon and do a podcast. So, it's funny.
It is kind of funny.
But, yeah, no, you got to get that, some sort of, even if it's just like a goal for the day, because you have different buckets of shit you got to do. Or at least I find like for myself. And so, for me, I got to create content. I got like, think about marketing shit. So it's like Mondays is content creation. Tuesdays is, blah, blah. And I may not schedule it out like, from 10 to noon, I'm going to be working on this. But I'll get like my big 3, like the 3 things I got to get done the next day.
Yeah.
And then just make sure I check those off. Usually before I even check. I started doing that before I even check email or text or anything, man. That's been great. I haven't checked my email yet today.
That's nice, awesome. Man. I check mine every like 5 minutes usually. I've been getting away from it, because I got somebody to do that for me now. But that's, we were, like learning to not spin my wheels has been a lot of it. Like at some point, you've done all the marketing you can do. You've done all the, calling and asking people why they're not on your project that you can do. And you just got to let it go instead of just thinking about it. Like, because you'll spend like 6-7 hours just freaking going over the same loop in your head of like, this is the move I'm going to make tomorrow. This is the, this is what I'm going to do about this. This is what I'm going to do about that. And you won't get anything accomplished. It's pointless. Yeah. Yeah. You make the calls you got to make, set the stuff in motion that you got to set in motion, and then you decide the next day if it works, and kind of go from there again. And
I let shit go.
Kind of have a hard time, taking time to relax. But I'm getting better at it. That's been one major development this year. It's just like, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let the people I put in place do what I put them in place to do. And
not stress about it.
Yeah, not stress about it.
Well, yeah, like I'm a firm believer, man. You only have so many like decision points in a day. Yeah. I always label them as decision points. Like basically, you wake up in the morning and you got 100 decision points or whatever the number is. 100's a nice round number, and every little decision you make eats up some fucking points. Where from the shirt you wear, that might only eat up a point or two, but you might have some big decisions that eat up like 10 and 20 points. Dude, and I feel that way because by the end of the day, sometimes on my work days, I get home, 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm not making any fucking adequate decisions. Somebody asked me, like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow about this? I'm like, man, I don't fucking care. You just tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Just tell me what time to be. Because you only got so much resources, like battery life. You might be up physically moving and doing stuff, but you're not mentally capable or emotionally super strong to take care of shit.
Yeah,
maybe that's just me, but
you can feel the difference in the energy level it takes too.
Yep.
To just spin your wheels and stress out about stuff. Stress takes a lot of energy.
Yep. And then you end up finding yourself stressing out about shit that you really can't control.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of what you're saying. Like you put this certain things in place. You hire people. You do this. Yep. And then you can sit there obsess over it. Fuck, is he going to do this right? Or is he going to, blah, blah, blah. And that's not doing you any good. You just got to kind of see what happens.
Yeah, you have a little more control over. I think the things like I'm more referring to is like how much, call stream is coming into, the appliance business. Like, it's like, okay, we need to up the marketing and we do some stuff. You got to wait to see what the results are. Like, no matter how much I think about it, like, the schedule doesn't get full by me just staring at a computer screen and trying to figure out, why we're not getting this or why we're not getting that coming in. And
yeah, that's the tough thing, man. Because when you're the technician, it's like you can just I put in more hours. Right? I know that if I'm working and when you're there's a lag.
I'm trying to keep other people's schedules full.
Yeah, there's a lag between your decision and the results from it. And it's tough to do something like today that's going to see results today or tomorrow. kind of thing. Yeah.
And, you know, when you're the only technician, you can go home and you're not, you know, burning up somebody's paycheck. But like if I send my people home, you know, like once in a while it's cool, but if it starts getting, you know, like half week here, half week there, they're going to start looking for somebody else to work for.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got to like find them stuff to do or like keep them employed even though they're not
making you money.
Yeah, exactly. Go organize the trucks, re-inventory this, re-inventory that, like clean some stuff. Keep them there so that they're not tempted to go look for something else to do.
Yeah.
Is that one tech you hired working out pretty good? The one, because you hired him like last year when we were snowboarding and shit,
yeah,
man. Like I guess it was the beginning of this year.
He left me, and I got 2 other ones. I got one guy that came over to me from Sears, and then just hired another one. So I got an office manager and 2 techs. So it's pretty healthy weekly payroll, you know. It gets sideways fast when.
The fucking Bed Daddy Enterprises over here, man.
I know, man.
Check this out.
I know.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I follow a lot of like I don't know, read a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk stuff and Grant Cardone and like different people like that to try and, you know, I'm always trying to figure out how I can amplify this process, and like never really satisfied at how quick it's going, you know, like it's not. And it's funny how like when you really set goals, like it kind of tends to work. Like maybe not exactly where you want it to be, but somewhere in the general vicinity of where you had it. Like I said, I was going to try and have 3 techs by the end of the year. And I've got 2 and an office manager so far. I don't think a 3rd one's coming in, but, you know, it's better having that goal than having, you know, like if I didn't have a goal, I probably wouldn't have, you know, I'd probably still be with 1 tech. And I think the thing that just made me decide to bring in the 2nd one is that it was like I didn't want to be too reliant on one, you know? Like I was like, because that's what happened with the first guy you were talking about. He quit, not really suddenly. I mean, he gave me his 2 weeks and everything, but it was a bit of a shock because I thought he was pretty happy and everything was going smooth. And then he's like, his life situation changed and he needed a job with health insurance, which I don't have the capability to provide yet. And so he was like, I'm out in 2 weeks. And I was like, man, this is really like kind of just torpedoed everything I was doing. So now I got more than one, you know. So now I got more resources, and the more resources you get, like if you look at like big companies, they don't think about it. Like the top level guys come in, make some decisions, and then like wait for the results to come in, you know.
Yeah.
But the bigger the ship is, the quicker it crashes, you know. So it's like when you're something small and agile, you can adjust a lot faster, and the bigger you get, the harder it is to like. That's why these giant companies go under before they even realize what's going on. You know, you lose like billions of dollars 1 month, and then all of a sudden, like they're like, "Hey, we've got no money." Like, how did that happen?
It takes a long time to steer a big ass ship.
Yeah, exactly. But
yeah, no, it's true. I remember running my gym, had the same thing, man. Had trainers, and you know, if they called in sick or something, it's like, hey, who's next on deck? It's like, oh yeah, it's me. So yeah, you got to have a couple. Start to realize, like, as the owner, you're basically trying to put a couple levels between you and being the one who does the work.
yeah,
Because otherwise, it's kind of an illusion almost. Because if there's just one person between you and the work, and there's no other buffer zone, it's kind of an illusion. Because if that person goes or they get sick, it's like, no, you're really back there. You're the backup. You're on the bench. Like, you're not really out of it. You're on the bench, and that's different than being out of the rotation completely. And and
you gotta let your people do what you put them in place to do. That's another mistake I see a lot of these guys make. Like, there's a hotel I was actually gonna buy, and I was watching, you know, I was gonna run it like a hotel without the hotel, and you know, run it on Airbnb so that like there's no like office staff. Like you don't need somebody there 24/7 to check you in because payroll's a huge expense. And so they had somebody there checking people in, and they had somebody else sitting behind that person checking people in dissatisfied with the way they were doing it the entire time. So it's like you might as well not even have that guy there if you're going to want to do everything yourself. You know, like basically he's just there so you've got like feel like you have a buffer between you and the customer. And I see so much of that, like everywhere, like all around different businesses. You know, I see like especially service companies.
And I can use technology to create that
Oh,
buffer,
yeah.
like so, like the
Exactly.
Airbnb thing is that like it's basically serving as that check-in person. So yeah, and it's funny. Like the customers, obviously, I know you feel the same way. Without the customers, there's no money. So it's not that we don't like our customers. It's just that they're a needy bunch of people.
Yeah.
They're very needy.
Oh, they are. No, they're
So.
and that's another thing we started doing. Like when I hired an office manager, that's what I hired her for, was to go like actually do reviews. And like we were talking about the difference between like a fake level of satisfaction on Facebook where you got 46 5-star reviews, but like nobody's really going to recommend you, versus like actually calling people the next day and asking them how things went and fixing it if it isn't. I think that was another one that was like sparked off of some little short video that I was watching that came out that was basically like, don't ask for the feedback if you're not ready to hear it. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, it's true, man.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah,
people are like, "Oh, give me your feedback." They just always assume it's going to be good.
Yeah,
I can see that being pretty easy. Like in your business. You send your tech out, and according to him, everything went good. So that's the person you call to get the feedback. But he goes out and does a service call, and shit didn't go quite sideways. You could be like, I'm not going to call and ask that person's feedback. This one might sting a little bit. I'm going to avoid that way. I can see
definitely.
That'd be easy to do.
It's very easy to do.
Yeah.
For a while it was like I was scared to like ask for reviews from people that that I wasn't sure were going to freaking give me some. Solid advice. It starts out a lot of it also starts off like when you're new, and I wasn't new. I just didn't really care that much about marketing for 10 years, and then all of a sudden I was like, I'm gonna do this different. But when like coming out on Google, like if you've only got 1 star and somebody's mad about something, like they can really take your freaking stuff down. So you got to get this like giant plate of armor by asking every single buddy, how are we doing? But then you got to be ready to actually hear that feedback too. So
yeah,
that's a huge difference.
It's kind of a delicate dance.
Yeah.
I know. It sucks too because that there's no way that everybody's going to be happy.
No,
and some people, a lot of people are. I would say out of people that if you're doing a good job, right? Like if you're really making an effort to do a good job, then you're gonna take care of most people. But sometimes shit's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's like listening to them and like I said, being willing to hear like, oh yeah, I can, and we've never had that happen. I never thought that could happen, but now I know, and we can change it. Versus, dude, I had some fucking dumbass the other day came and posted a review on our pedals, and he was mad because he contacted us, and he was like, basically with the pedals you got the axle, and the axle there's 2 bearings and a bushing that it sits on. It's a simple little system, and double bearing, single bushing, kind of the industry standard. And this guy contacts me and he's like, hey, you only sent 1 bushing with the rebuild kit. And the rebuild kits come directly from my manufacturer. Like, it's not like I'm going to fucking, Home Depot and putting them together or something. And I'm like, well, it only needs 1. And he's like, well, there's room here for 2. I'm like, man, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, you only need 1. And he came and he posted on his review, and he's like, the owner doesn't know his own product. And there's room for 2 bushings, and he says there's only you only need 1, and so I wouldn't recommend buying these pedals from a company that has an owner who doesn't even know his own product or something like that. And I was just like what the fuck, man? Like that's not like
you didn't hear the guy didn't hear the answer he wanted, so he just assumed he was right.
Pretty
and you
much,
weren't. Yeah.
No, that's like 99% of freaking I don't know. Like, I got like one specific position. If that's like pretty much all she does is puts out fires like that, because people are just nuts.
People are nuts.
It's funny. You're in a little bit different position
there
than
was
I am,
one
because
guy
I go firing back
that
on.
told me. There's one guy that told me that he was like, he was having issues. It was a Samsung under warranty, and he was having issues with it. He told me he was going to contact the owner of Samsung, and I was like,
the owner of Samsung, huh?
I was just like, good
Do
luck.
it.
Like, yeah, you
Mr.
let me know how that
Samsung
goes.
is out right now. Last I heard.
What you're gonna get from the freaking 800 number
Oh my god.
is a giant call center.
Dude, old people crack me up like that. I remember my dad used to get fucking pissed off about shit. Like, he got mad one time because he had like the Roku or whatever to get your streaming TV or whatever, and so they're trying to watch a movie and it kept cutting out on him, and it's like, dude, do you know how many different variables there are with this scenario right here? And but he's convinced, but he calls them up, man, and he's pissed off that he can't like get someone on the phone to help him. They're like, and it's like, dude, what do you want? There's nothing that they can do. But you know, back in the day though, man, that was how you did it, man. That's how you did it.
People went from being mad to freaking about that you couldn't like walk in, that they had to call somebody, and then there's an acceptance to call centers, and then now it's like everybody's on email. Like you can. It's hard to find a phone number for a lot of companies. So like I'm kind of going through that old man phase. Like, this is bullshit. I want to be able to call somebody.
Although, man, I will say, I mean,
but from the flip side of the coin, like running it from the other side, I'm kind of trying to head that direction with my business too, and talk all of these people into scheduling online. And people, I overestimate how much people are like me when it comes to technology, and like, this is really cool. I don't actually have to talk to anybody. I can just sit here and schedule somebody to come into my house, and they show up like ninjas, fix my shit, and send me a bill by email. I'm like, this is, that's awesome to me. But some people are like, especially like people I know, like, want me to input this information for them. It's like, okay, I guess I can. Like,
are you indirectly talking to me right now? Every time wait a second. Every time I need something fixed, I just call Corey. Like, hey man, I need some shit.
I didn't know he had it now.
I didn't know he had a business. I just call fucking Corey.
No, but there's a lot of people that do it to me. It's like, it's not just you.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Hey, I gave you a cup of coffee.
You're good, man.
I gave you a cup of coffee, and you're on the podcast.
I come over here, I'm on a podcast. I get coffee when I come over here.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Anyways.
Technology. It's good shit in some cases.
It's a lot of cases. It's good shit.
Yeah.
You got those. What do they say when you design a ship, you also design the shipwreck.
Yeah.
There's gonna be fucked up shit that comes
pretty
along
much,
with it, and you
that's
just
what I
gotta
spend a lot of time doing is like like reviewing that stuff and trying to figure out better systems that we can use. I mean, I was kind of happy when I was talking to my guy the other day, and like he came over to me from Sears, and I was like, what's this at, like, Sears? He's like, this is actually pretty smooth. Like, I mean, this is a giant freaking company that's got money to invest in technology, and I piece my crap together from little $9.99 a month services online. And he says mine actually runs like somewhat comparable to what theirs does when it comes to scheduling and schedule management and stuff like that. So even though we have to use more than multiple platforms and have multiple logins and stuff, but I mean, the difference between that and like developing an entire like application that encompasses it all, I think I got a rough quote the other day, like 80,000.
Are you serious?
Dude, apps are expensive as hell.
Holy fuck, dude! If you would have said, hey, how much do you think it would cost to design an app for something like like a scheduling app?
It's not just scheduling.
I would have been
it's
like
scheduling, parts tracking, GPS integration, like how like Domino's has like where you can call up and freaking. They're like, your order is here. It's being made by...
Rob. You got the Domino's app right there.
I know what you're saying, though. I know exactly what you're saying. Like, dude, if I would have had to guess, like, hey, how much you think it'd be to get an app like that? I'd have been like, $500 $5 grand.
Dude, apps are ridiculously
You said 80
expensive,
grand?
man. Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I always laugh when people are like, "Oh, why don't you get a MTV Strength Training Systems app?" And it's like,
it's really
so much money.
It's that much more than
As
just getting a
somebody with a
website.
computer programming degree, like I can say, like that, it's worth it. There's a lot of work that goes into that shit. You know,
Is it that much more involved than like a website?
Websites, it depends on what kind of website. If you got anything like on the back end of a website, it's pretty involved. Like, and when I say back end, I mean like if it takes customer data, stores it somewhere, parses it, and does something with it, it's pretty involved. To just have a website out there with a freaking page, like graphic designers, you know, like kids that are good with computers and 11 years old can do that kind of stuff, because it's really just moving something static around on a page. But if you wanted to actually do something and ping a server over here and integrate with the GPS app over there, like a lot of the things that make it super intense is you got to work with different systems like Google's API, which means you have to talk to Google, and then you probably have to pay Google to use their API. And API is like an interface that allows you to use their app with your system. So do I know the theory, like I haven't actually done a lot of this stuff in practice, you know, a little bit. I mean, we brushed on a little bit of it in school, and I mean, you know, we made some video games and stuff like that from scratch and did some of this stuff from scratch. But yeah, it take people a whole semester, you know, to get like a GPS function up and running, or you know, this and that up and running. And a lot of it's testing. Like there's like the reason that Windows doesn't get redone and they just keep stacking on top of it is because they say if they print out the freaking code book, like the lines of code, and like on paper, like it would fill like a house about this size. So they're not starting from scratch and writing a new one. They're just patching the shit that's there, because you just can't do it in a lifetime.
Yeah, I think as a whole we take for granted the, you know, our fucking phones and what we can do, and how great they are, and how like you just think it's so simple because you just push a button. Yeah. And like your navigation app, you know, like Google Maps is the shit. You know, it's better than Apple Maps.
It's awesome.
Because, you know, Apple Maps, you know, they're more on the privacy side of things, so their maps aren't as good. Like I navigate around for a fucking living, so I've used Waze and Google and Apple. Like Google Maps is the shit. Yeah. There's very few places I can't find. Even when I'm way out in the sticks in Colorado, like if I know I'm not gonna have signal somewhere, if I'm going to like fucking Nucla or, you know, someplace just it smells like fucking crystal meth and incest out there, there's just nothing, right?
Yeah.
If I pull it up ahead of time, someplace where I have signal, and then I can like screenshot it and I have the directions. But yeah, it finds shit, dude. Like it's pretty goddamn impressive how that all works. Yeah. And you just take it for granted. You're like, oh yeah, just type it in and it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I mean, with the website stuff too, you can like WordPress is really good because you can just use fucking plugins.
That's what we use for Grumpy Guy.
Yeah.
I say we, but we don't.
So if you're, and plugins are kind of like apps for the website. You know, it's kind of a good way to describe it. You got like your WordPress website, and then you can use the different applications that you can plug into it. And so you can, if you're programming a site from scratch to do a bunch of that shit, like you can. It's fucking super involved. But if you kind of like what you're saying though, you do with instead of having like an app and spending all that money, you're able to kind of like take a few different things and integrate them together for your own purpose. And so you can kind of do that because, man, like I've seen websites, like, dude, the prices come down so much. I mean, back in the day, like, $80 grand for a fucking website was nothing. But like, I mean, I spent like, you know, $2,000 for my recent website update.
That's about what I spent for mine. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's and it has a bunch of stuff, but a lot of it's
freaking professional too, like pretty.
Yeah, it's just a WordPress site with like fucking plugins and stuff to make it work, and it looks great, but.
It's a lot of programming is just like stepping off the backs of what other people did, and that's kind of what I was like saying. Like a lot of the reason that it's that way is because you have to talk to these giant companies that own the technology, and they're going to want licensing fees. Like there's not just going to give you access, the master keys to their stuff. They are going to charge you, I don't know how much, but you know, to be like here, and you know, then they send you a list of like how you interact with it, like what calls and stuff you do to interact with it, but yeah. This is like probably one of the most non-jiu-jitsu podcasts I've ever done.
No.
We very rarely talk about
Really?
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
We call it the Grumpy Guy Jiu-Jitsu Podcast. No, we just call it. Yeah, we do call it the Jiu-Jitsu Podcast. But
Yeah, Grumpy Guy BJJ.
if we had to go a percentage of how much we actually talk about jiu-jitsu, it's probably like 20%.
Yeah, it's not a large.
It's not a large. We just like to fucking bullshit. This really just gives us a reason to sit down and bullshit with each other.
Yeah.
That's really what
That's
it
That's
is.
really what it is. So.
Let's get it. On that note, just a heads up, like, I probably got to leave here in the next, like, 15 to maybe 30 minutes tops.
Yeah.
Just so we're all on the same page.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And you're like, if I leave and you still got to do this or whatever, like, have at it, or if I can do it. So just make sure everybody's privy to what's going on.
Yeah, man. You go. You going in tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going in tonight?
Fuck yeah.
You guys going to be in there for beginner class or just showing up for
Nah,
open
open
mat?
mat.
Open mat, yeah.
6:30?
Fuck class. I don't do class anymore.
Classes for losers.
Class is for losers. Yeah, dude. I don't need somebody showing me shit. I'm only partially kidding.
Behind every joke, there is a touch bit of truth.
Just a touch bit of truth. No, you know. I'm sure you agree, man. You reach a point with jiu-jitsu where it's like, class is fun, you know, but it's your...
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
You really, your jiu-jitsu is growing from other things. So it's the rolling and the intelligent drilling that I think really make the difference. So, but yeah,
Kid Dale, that's all he does is roll.
that's it, man.
We talked about that. I think that was last
Yeah,
time. We talked
I just
about
watched this thing, man. I'm all on board with
Yeah.
because like the way he explains it, it makes sense. You know, the whole idea of you know trying to memorize a specific answer to a problem versus the principles behind it, and a lot of it just has to do with how you're teaching it.
Yeah.
Right. And so unfortunately, a lot of the ways that you're taught stuff is a specific answer to a specific problem. And if you know enough, you can see the principles behind it and get that out of it. But, you know, there's if the whole like idea of building muscle memory it's tough. Like you need to do so many reps to do it. So your better bet is to focus on those principles rather than specific answers. And yeah, because I mean, I'm sure you know once you do something for a while, right? Like you come in and you'll do a move, and like you just have a natural way of doing it, and that just naturally leads to a certain like transition or certain thing for you. And then somebody will be like, "No, you got to do it this way." And it's not that it's better; it's just different, right? But it's like, and so now you got to spend a class drilling it like that. Right, trying to develop some muscle memory, something that it's not necessarily better. It's just that this is how they do it, and to them, that's their specific answer to this specific problem.
Yeah.
And so
You
know,
started transitioning recently?
to what?
Transitioning. Don't get James talking about fucking transgender transition and shit.
Yeah, man.
We'll be here for another fucking hour easy.
Dude, I've been transitioning for the last several years, slowly. Anyways, but yeah, no, I think there's definitely something to that. At first you got to be told specific answers, but eventually it goes beyond that.
You know, it's funny is I was just listening to Gordon Ryan was on the Flow Grappling part of the Fistful of Collars podcast this past week. I haven't finished listening to it all yet, but he kind of touched on that, man. It was pretty interesting because he hasn't been training that long.
Right.
You know, in the grand scheme of things. Like, the dude's fucking good. Like, he's 80cc absolute champion, 80cc fucking, 80 kilo champion, or whatever it was, 99 kilo champion. Like, he's fucking, he wins, like, constantly. He's fucking good. And he mentioned, he's like, well, you know, I haven't been training as long as a lot of these guys, like your Buchechas and your Cyborgs. He's like, but our system, like in Danaher's system, we have these certain positions, these leg entanglements, these back positions, that we spend more time in those positions than these other guys that have been training for 10 years more than I have. But in this certain position, I have more training time. He's like, so I set up my game to a position that I've spent more time in, I'm almost certain of, and I funnel them into that. And then once I got them into that, they're in my world. He's like, that's how we do it. He's like, that's how we're better with less training time. He's like, and then if someone takes me out of that, I know enough to get them back into it. And then once I'm into these niche, they're not niche positions, but these certain positions, he's like, I've spent more time there. He's like, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And
it's like going super specific versus being well-rounded.
Yeah. He's well-rounded enough to get people into your certain systems.
Yeah.
And then, so that he was talking about that. I didn't listen to the whole interview yet, but it was interesting. I was like, huh.
Yeah. I mean, that was actually one of the things Kit was talking about too, like that 80-20 rule. And if you look at, what he's saying in like competition, what is the 20% that delivers 80% of your results?
Yep.
And so, like for him, he was talking about like guard passing and sweeping, and like that's a huge part. So he's like, I wouldn't really work a whole lot on submissions. I just work on guard passing and sweeping, because like in a competition, like those 2 points right there are usually the fucking difference. And but basically same thing from the submission, because Gordon's like a submission only specialist. Like that's what his jiu-jitsu is based on. Even when he goes into points-based tournament, he goes in
with the submission only mindset.
I'm going to submit everyone, all y'all motherfuckers. And so for him, like that's it. What's the 20% that delivers 80% of my results? And so it's what are those positions that I know that if I can get people into, I have the highest percentage chance of submitting them. And so that's what he works on. And but yeah, I mean, it's a smart way to go about it, especially if you don't have as much time. For him, if he doesn't have as much time just because he hasn't been doing it as long. So if you don't have as much time because you just don't have as much time to train, like whatever the thing is, like if you're trying to excel at something as quickly as possible, like figuring out what those big rocks are and focusing on them. So I mean, what would you say the big rocks are for like a white belt? Like what
Trying to learn everything at once.
Well, no, but see, that's just it, right?
See, that's it. That's exactly like
that's the hard
thing.
You told me, like, before I really started gi jiu-jitsu. So when we were still at 8th Street, just I don't know what you call it, but yeah, even then they were like, just focus on position, and I kind of ran with it, and I think that helps a lot. Just focus on position, like how to get to how to move from position to position, and not really worrying about trying to submit anybody. It's like you're a white belt. You're not going to submit anybody for a long ass time, except for other white belts that are like a month junior to you.
Yeah, I would have to say it's tough. I would probably need more time to really think about the answer, but just kind of off the cuff. Yeah, because I see so many white belts struggle with like what to do. Like they're just so confused. Like if they don't come from a wrestling background, they're such a fish out of water. They have no idea what to do. Like, okay, what is my goal here? And so figuring out the hierarchy of positions, and understanding, okay, if I start in somebody's guard, I should pass the guard. Then I get to side knee on belly or side control. Okay, what should I do from here? Okay, now the next position would be mount, and then back mount. And so I think those are the big rocks. And it's basically kind of what you're saying, the position. Like, that don't worry about all the moves and all the submissions and all this, but giving yourself a destination. And then you can start building on it from there. That's what I would think.
Well, I guess that's the other thing that I don't really have, like, perspective on. It's just coming in straight gi jiu-jitsu, because I started in MMA and we just punch each other when we freaking,
when you don't know what to do, punch somebody.
Yeah. And then he feels bothering me. He'll move.
Yeah, he cover up and freaking try and figure out how to get off of the bottom. It's like about what it really comes down to. And when somebody's up striking too, it kind of messes with their balance, so they're
it opens things up.
Yeah, it opens a lot of stuff up, and they're a lot less stable. So it makes it, I don't know, somewhat easier to get out of bottom positions until they really know what they're doing and how to control well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so
man. It's
I don't know. Like I just thought about that right now. Like if I just came in, like as a white belt without any striking or anything, it might be a little bit different, because you just usually just end up on bottom going, fuck, what am I supposed to do? Tap out, start over again.
Yeah, I think that question, is best answered. It's the bullshit answer no one likes hearing. Is like somebody asks you, like, what's the most important? It depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really what it is, because it depends on what are you coming in with? What tool set are you coming in with? If you're coming in with a tool set where you're a fucking accountant and you've never done anything physical in your life, your big rocks are going to be different than someone who's wrestled since they were 6. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be different. So that's probably the best way to answer it.
Yeah.
And it really it depends on what skills you have prior.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be the same for everybody. Because you take a wrestler, even somebody that's wrestled for a couple of years, say they wrestled for 2 years in high school, they got a pretty decent mat awareness for the most part, and so they understand what's a dominant position as opposed to a non-dominant position. Somebody with zero experience, they can't wrap their head around that, so it's hard to, they're not going to have the same big rocks.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's
fair.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what I would say. I think fucking passing,
just gotta get your ass whooped. Learn to get your ass whooped until you don't.
Guard.
Yeah, I guess
that's what I really say about like jiu-jitsu stuff parallels a lot of the stuff that I do, like in the investing and the house building and stuff like that. It feels kind of the same way. You just gotta get beat up until you get sick of it and make dumb mistakes. And hopefully, they're not super costly, but it is kind of the same way. You just like make mistakes and go, oh, I'm not going to do that again. And hopefully you don't do it like 5 times in a row, and you like kind of learn from it and progress with it that way. But
I guess, man, kind of on that same note.
That's one thing that I feel like I did a lot was like making the same mistake like too many times in a row. As far as jiu-jitsu goes, anyway, it's just like probably still do it.
Yeah, I do it. But, on that same note, I guess one big rock that would apply to everybody is just being comfortable being uncomfortable. Getting used to that. Because if you can't embrace that, you're not going to make it.
That's what's kicked off the last couple of years, and a lot of the stuff I've been doing. It's just like that one little thing right there is like just like step out of your comfort zone. Do not stay comfortable for too long. You got to like dip back in there once in a while because you need a rest from being outside of your comfort zone. But I think eventually you get to a point where it's just like kind of normal, and then you got to find a new comfort zone, and that's like where that growth is. Like, after a while, like, that's what expands your comfort zone. Like once you get comfortable with that step you took outside of the comfort zone, and now this is comfortable, now you got to find another thing that's like more uncomfortable, and just keep on going until you, I don't know, retire or die. Retire or die.
There you go. Sounds like a good battle cry.
Yeah.
Retire or die. Yeah, no, it's applicable to everything. So that's how we make it a jiu-jitsu podcast. Whatever we talk about ties back to jiu-jitsu somehow.
I think that might be a good place to wrap it up right there.
Yeah, man. I think so too.
Put a little button on it right there.
Right on.
Words of wisdom from the Mauler. Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's right.
Well, thanks for doing this, dude.
Retire or die.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
Thanks for surprising me. Hey, you're in the middle of a podcast right now.
we don't have like a waiver disclosure statement for you to sign, so don't sue us.
Oh, okay.
Please.
Yeah, I won't.
All right.
Okay.
We got it. We got that. That's the disclosure.
That's the disclosure
right there.
Right there.
He said he went. We have
It's
it recorded.
verbal, it's valid.
We've got it exactly.
It will hold up in a court of law.
We got proof.
That's right. All right.
Okay, well,
it's called a wrap.
Yeah,
Right
talk
on.
to everybody next week.
See you guys.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast.
Thank you all for listening. You can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please make sure to subscribe and leave us a review. It really does help and will allow us to keep putting out episodes. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, hit us up at grumpyguybjj@gmail.com. Also, go to our website, grumpyguybjj.com, and get signed up for podcast updates and get our free BJJ Improvement Starter Kit. That's it for now, so get on the mat, train hard, and talk to you all next week.
With a permanent rep, a hermit now, boom. Doggy stool, foggy, cool, got a froggy outside Molly dude. Melvin, Colin, Daisy Duke, hanging by the lace of their shoes. No trace of the tools, shaped in your face, fuck the rules. Snooze, you lose. One night, yo, always open in times two. No clue, but soon a brief monsoon might give you a view to choose. Stay tuned, include, won't conclude. To the end is near, beware there's consequences for what you do. To me, demon, a devil of many levels. I